This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Friday, September 19th, 2025, and we're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I will be joined for the closing markets by Ethan Robson of agmarket.net as we wrap up the market action from today. But first, it is my conversation with Rex Gray of Golden Harvest as we learn about the new products looking ahead already to next growing season.
Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm joined today by Rex Gray of Golden Harvest. We are at the Golden Harvest tent at the Farm Progress Show 2025 in Decatur, Illinois. Rex, could you tell me, please, your job title here at Golden Harvest?
Absolutely. My name is Rex Gray. I'm the Corn Product Manager for Syngenta Seeds, and happy to be with you here this morning, Mark.
And earlier we had talked with Andy Lee of Golden Harvest about that combination of GHX coming together. Wanted to talk to you about the seed side and what's new with Golden Harvest with seed.
Absolutely, right. You look at the Golden Harvest brand, and we've been around for over 50 years, and so a lot of legacy. And as you think about the investments in the seed space, that's one thing that Syngenta has really stepped up the game from a seed perspective, and specifically for corn, really starting to see some of those come forward. And so for 2026, we're going to have 9 new corn products from a 90-day all the way up to 117-day in trait choices that growers want and need. So really excited about that and really starting to see those investments pay off from a Syngenta standpoint.
Now, you say what growers want and need. Have you listened to the growers and what they've asked for when it comes to these products and some of those features they're looking for and tried to incorporate them?
Yeah, absolutely. When I think about the growers that I visit with, right, the number two things they're talking about is say, we need yield, right, because that pays the bills, but we also want consistency. And so that's really what Golden Harvest is going to bring, is a more consistent portfolio. And so you think about that consistency, right? Again, it's about those bushels in the grain tank that pays the bills. And so you look at our portfolio continuing to improve. Good is good, but great is better. And in fact, happy to share over 50% of our portfolio in 2026 is going to be products that are 2 years or newer. So ultimately bringing that top end yield potential, really started to see those investments pay off.
Have you seen customers show that appreciation for listening to their concerns and I guess trying to meet some of these problems that they're facing out there in the field every day?
Absolutely, right. I mean, the feedback is important, and we want to make sure that we listen to the feedback and then act on that feedback. And so I think that's something that we've definitely done in Golden Harvest, specifically from a corn standpoint, and really looking forward to continue to listen and get that feedback.
And then I know you mentioned Durastack. Could you tell us the importance of that as you look for the future and what's upcoming with Durastack?
Absolutely excited about the launch of Durastack and Durastack Viptera coming in 2027, and so growers will have an opportunity to experience that in 2026 in local trials. And so as we think about that full launch in 2027, growers are going to be able to see the benefits of Durastack as well as Durastack Viptera, and really what those benefits are. It's really the industry's first 3BT protein trait for corn rootworm control. And so that's going to give them 2x more root node protection, ultimately giving them a 9.7 bushel advantage compared to those isoline products in those more moderate to heavy corn rootworm situations. And so ultimately, right, that's more yield, that's what pays the bills, and excited to launch Durastack here in 2027.
Just a couple of weeks ago, we had the Iowa State Fair, Rex, and we had a lot of different people stopping by, farmers that wanted to talk about the disease pressure they're seeing in their fields. We know it's widespread out there this year. What does Golden Harvest have in the bag that allows it to withstand some of these pressures?
Absolutely, right. For me, it's about genetic resistance, right? No different than traits, right? Traits are just protecting that yield potential that you have. And so, disease tolerance is the same thing, right? You want to select products that have natural tolerance or natural resistance. You look at the Golden Harvest corn portfolio, and specific to diseases like tar spot or southern rust, those are some more up-and-coming diseases this year. We've seen some pretty heavy pressure, and the Golden Harvest portfolio has been standing strong in those disease situations.
He is Rex Gray with Golden Harvest, my guest here today at the Farm Progress Show. Rex, is there anything else you'd like to let our Iowa growers know about with Golden Harvest, or just anything else you're excited about?
Yeah, as you think about, what I'm continuing to be excited about is just the investments that Syngenta continues to make in the seed space. And so Durastack is just one example of that. And so continuing to help innovate, make sure growers can continue to produce more with less.
Rex, thanks so much for the time here today. Appreciate it, and have a great rest of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rex Gray of Golden Harvest for joining today's episode of Ag Matters PM. It is time now for our closing markets. I will be joined by Ethan Robson of agmarket.net. We'll see if he's out in the tractor again today working on his farm as we get ready for our closing markets. But first, a word from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soybean Checkoff.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Time now for closing markets, and I'm joined by Ethan Robson of agmarket.net. He is out in the field once again, getting a little bit of farming done here today. Ethan, how did we trade in the grains today on Friday?
Yeah, kind of a two-sided trade earlier this morning. So opened up at 8:30. Trade was up across the board today, corn, soybeans, wheat. Then around 9:30, 9:45, reports came across from President Trump and President Xi in China's phone call today that was expected. Verbiage and rhetoric out of that, not so friendly. Looks like there is going to be a deal done for TikTok, keep that into the U.S. markets. But as far as U.S. agriculture products or any other deal in general, pretty disappointing across the board. Looks like the president in China is going to meet in South Korea for the meeting there. But then President Trump posted on Twitter and Truth Social today, going to meet in China next year. And so that had the trade quickly give back all the gains it had this morning, and you have November soybeans down 11. So trade caught off guard about the talks that this could go on into the next year, and so trade's going to be anxious to see what all comes about that.
And I guess, Ethan, we really shouldn't be surprised by this, should we? Because we've had a few headlines, a few discussions where the United States and China are engaging in talks, and then like we see today, it doesn't necessarily even make its way to those agricultural talks. And so it kind of all falls apart in terms of what we see in the marketplace.
Exactly. Honestly, it's been the same story again and again. Talks that U.S.-China are going to talk, market goes up, and then you hear the reports out of it and it quickly sells off. And so keep kicking the can down the road while $1 million is China still remains absent from U.S. soybean market. And so U.S. soybeans desperately need that demand without some sort of domestic demand to help offset that. So market's going to be anxiously waiting to see if that can happen.
And we know that's why when those positive headlines do come across, the market grabs a hold of it, because we know that China is such an important, destination for those soybeans. Let's go over to the other side of the ag marketplace now, the livestock complex. What did we see with the trade for cattle and hogs today?
Yeah, livestock side, there were some green on the screen to finish the day. That was good to see. Livestock really been the bright star of the agriculture products right now, with the grains and oilseeds and livestock just continuing to carry on today. You have live cattle up $1.60 across the board. Feeder cattle up as well, $2 to $3 across. And so live cattle crossed the 10-day moving average technical. That was good to see as well with feeders. Going on to hogs as well, in between the 10 and 20-day moving average. So technically, charts still look pretty good.
And Ethan, I wanted to ask you as well, the situation with the southern border, have we seen any kind of moving that forward in terms of when we might see the border reopen? It does seem like they're being a little bit more cautious this time. Don't want to open the border and then have to shut it right again away. Is that kind of the vibe you're getting?
That is, yes. USDA's definitely been a little bit on the cautious side with regards to the border. Opened it earlier this year, but then quickly closed it after. So USDA is definitely trying to play it safe, and we can see that within the markets as well.
And then as we wrap up here today, Ethan, how's the farming going today? What are you out there doing today?
It's been good. So we're out in soybeans, been cutting soybeans the last couple of days. Yields all pretty good compared to the August we've had a pretty dry August. And so yield reports across what we're hearing as a company at Ag Market, variable has been the key word. So been seeing some really good yield reports, but then here's some poor average as well. And so trade's just trying to figure out what this U.S. yield's going to be for corn and soybeans. And so that'll be the $1 million question moving forward.
And Ethan is farming there in central Illinois, kind of north central Illinois. Ethan, thanks so much for the time here today. What's the best way for our viewers to get in touch for more marketing information?
Yeah, visit us online, agmarket.net, try our Intel or My Farm software. Give us a call here in Bloomington Normal office, 1-800-779-1515.
Thanks so much for the time here today. Always appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you to Ethan Robson of agmarket.net for our closing market information. Let's take a look at the closing numbers, and you can find that information anytime under the Markets tab of our website at iowaagnet.com.
December corn closes up a quarter cent at $4.24 even. November soybeans down 12 cents at $10.25.5. October soybean meal down 10 cents at $2.82.90. October soybean oil down 54 cents at $50.03. Chicago wheat down 1 3/4 at $5.22.5. Minneapolis wheat is down 4 cents at $5.68. Kansas City hard red wheat down 2 3/4 at $5.07 1/4. December oats down 1/4 cent at $3.21 1/4 cent. On the Merc, October live cattle up $1.20 at $233.58. October feeder cattle up $2.38 at $354.10. October lean hogs up 50 cents at $97.98. October pork cutout unchanged at $103.90. Class 3 milk is down 28 cents at $17.17.
That wraps up our closing market coverage for today and brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can follow us on social media at Facebook and X. Don't forget as well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can listen to our morning, midday, and closing market podcast, as well as our daily episodes of our Iowa Ag Matters podcast at Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. For Riley Smith, Dustin Huffman, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.